Showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. I've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now. I've felt myself swooning 3 times. There are a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trodden on 3 times too. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. We finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we are underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion happened yesterday. What's that? I can hear voices from up on the stage. Sounds like an argument. Right, I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you. I'll arrest you in a minute. Oh yeah? Go on then, Inspector. Give it a shot. You ain't got it. No evidence and you know it. I know those voices. I know these faces. You've got a cheeky little mouth on you, young lady, but a night in the cells will teach you some manners. I'm sure she's already served her time by the looks of it. Just try it, I dare you. If you want that bag of chips rammed down your throat. Oh my god, Gina! Yoo-hoo! Gracie, what are you doing up there? Your ladyship. Ah! It's you! You're he! Your ladyship! How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're well, your ladyship. Does that make her 3 times a lady? I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue. Unbelievable. I'll go and have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty. It will appear he's back in action now. It's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. For that reason, I can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. There are limits, surely. Or there should be. Watch it, sunshine! Sorry. What gives then? Don't tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me, that's the situation, is it? Is it really that troubling? Measly 5 bob? Is that all you got? You're a lawyer, ain't ya? You could stand to carry a bit more copper around your pockets, Mr. Narod. Did you just pinch off me? Oh, you never changed it. Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back, but I'll have to charge her for all the bother. 3 bob. Oh! This is Gina Lestrade, pickpocket or diver, born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, this is the young girl I was defending in court. What's your problem there, Otto? Diver? Pickpocket? What's with all the name calling? And why are we saying this out loud? You want a bag of chips ran down your throat and all, do ya? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with the inspector about it, weren't you? And you just dived off me just then. I assume you've been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. There ain't no way to talk to a lady, Otto. After a year, it's a long time. People can change. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now, learning to be a Scotland Yard detective. You'll have to call me what everyone else does. It's Inspector Lestrade now. Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely. The inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls her that. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right, well, I'll be back up top. You hold the fort down here, alright? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Hello, lovey! Long time no see. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina, in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realised I couldn't go on like I was. The diving weren't working out. I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective. You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Probably was, actually, with all these Sherlock Holmes references. Sherlock... Ah! Anyway, talk about a sea change. And then there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? Said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out the subs we're looking for him. Just a small promise then, nothing serious. Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, that's how I had to go at the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem, nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Gregsy and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson. And brave. Oh, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. Great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and the short of it is, if you've got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Whoa, what, Bruno, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. A trial in which she was found not guilty. Yet here she is still. Come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper, or whatever it's called. Sure, you don't have to worry, Otto. If I didn't half worry, then there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, innit? Reaper's kind of like him upstairs, so he knows what I'm like on the inside. I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong, but I'd be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? That's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly. So I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. We can ask you, can we? Oh, it was out of this world, it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it started billowing smoke. It just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean, you saw it, Ginny, with your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge, ain't he? Keeping everything running smooth, I mean. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. It's going to take some getting used to. So all I have to say is that I'm on duty and I can do whatever I want to. Yeah, this. I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. You're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You know, no trouble at all. Then it's settled. When do I start? No, you can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success, in a way. It was. How can it have been? Successful experiment. Surely after the whole thing blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. So like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and a whopping great bang. Where do you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. In the tower? You can see it for yourself, can't ya? Up there above the scaffold. Where the glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage what the victim got in to start with really did get beamed through the air and whatever. And landed all the way over there. So you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. Considering teleportation's not a thing even now, something suspicious about this. Well, I'll tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment they drew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 bob off the yard before, so fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth anyway, investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yeah, what's that all about? What were you doing up there then? Yes, naughty old Gregson ran off after that without explaining himself. Oh, like that. Boss said no one was allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call him again? The Forensic Investigation Team, I think. Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can't investigate. Yes, I've never heard something like that before. I thought I could have a gander on the quiet though, but the boss called me at it. You probably heard him give me an earful about it before from down here, didn't you? Oh. It's not bleeding fair! I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Otto. Go on, see if you can get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, isn't he? Where the machine that exploded is. We could try, can't we, Runa? Gregsy will listen to us. Well, before that though, there's a bunch of things I want to see on the floor here. Whatever this is. It looks Looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped? Or hid? It's not well hidden either, mate, but sure. What is this? Some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above in the blast, perhaps. That's dangerous. What's going on here? Oh, nothing! I think I'll hang on to this just in case. Yeah, I know you said we're not allowed to investigate, but nothing's stopping me from clicking on things haphazardly. For some reason, the ground is damaged in this spot. Look! Almost as if there was a fire here or something. Yes, if you look closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers too. I suppose there was a big explosion just above here. People probably wouldn't bat an eyelid at a small fire like this. What happened? At a small fire like this would have been. I'm not sure we English are quite that laid back, Bruno. This random piece of... What is this? A ripped piece of cloth. It's not like any fabric I've seen before. It's very thick and stiff. Looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion. Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. The Crystal Tower. It's certainly an apt name. It was built to be the focal point of the exhibition. It definitely is, being so tall and with all that glass. I can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan. There are lots of exhibits inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's an observation deck, but there's also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum. What the fuck is a zoo? I hear you have to queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors. At the moment, the shattered glass from the failed experiment may well be the biggest draw. Thanks to that accident, the whole tower is shut. Suddenly it's not the Crystal Tower anymore, but the Crystal Glass Shower. Apparently, everyone's taking to the skies now to look down on the disaster from above instead. But there's a 3-hour queue to go up in the blue now. Londoners must be very patient people. Or people in London. I'm sure there are overseas guests too. Probably. That's where the Cub ended up after his instant kinesis or whatever they called it. Dead, of course. Yet they're calling the experiment a success. What's a wooden scaffold there for? The Coppers, our lads, set that up after the incident happened. To get the bloody body down, I think. Dunno, really. Didn't you help to erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Wandering around the exhibit and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that, or give you the boot. It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, but what are those funny round blobs floating in the sky? Oh, they're the flying balloons I've been talking about. I want to go... What I've been talking about. I want to go up in one so much! I've read about situations like this in a magazine, about strange phenomena. Creatures from outer space coming in round flying objects to attack Earth! What? Oh, I suppose inhabitants of all the planets are bound to be interested in the great exhibition. This isn't Iris! It's happening! It's not, don't worry. Explain it to you all later over a cup of nice tea, Bruno. It's a conspiracy! I like how we took the thing over here, but not this piece of cloth. Interesting. We are rather selective of what we take from the scene. These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. Ooh. Sparks are flying. So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. It must have been a magnificent explosion. I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course. Halley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. That might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish I'd been there to see it, Bruno. Don't I live up there? It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Ah, look, Inspector Gregson is over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air. Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris? No, Bruno. Just a child. How should I know? Child when it suits you mean? From what I can tell, I think if you... Stop! Don't touch that! Aha! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Gregsy. Please, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. So sorry. You can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. Oh my god, finally. Oh, wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. It's just like old times, this is. We're representing Professor Harebrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene. Ha! Listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's a blasted special dispensation for the Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty! Oh yes, that special dispensation. The professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks is playing at times. We're allowed to just look, aren't we? Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy? Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship. But please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? worry. We won't dream of touching anything, would we, Runo? She really knows how to get what she wants. Oh wait, whatever. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Harebrain was lucky to escape unscathed, I say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get stronger myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please, spare thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims? He asked, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to experiment all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly! The annoying, obstructive, flaming rules! Look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle is in the shape of the capital letter A. It's like the Crystal Tower, kind of. It is. Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get stronger myself, I said. Yes, I understand. Sorry. I only touched a tiny weeny bit. Just, Grexy, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really, really curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. Well, I'm afraid I can't let you have it. Luno found it first. I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. Huh, that was very mean. I'm afraid. Inspector Gregson is going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now. Poor Gregsy. Sorry about that, sir. Government policy. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body and then beam him across the Crystal Tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned before the exhibition, mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the onslaught of public safety infringements. They can be the first to develop some new technology that makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. I suppose that's true in a way. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical idea and even going into production. Which is an infuriating reason why us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new Highfalutin Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. You see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department of the Yard. The Forensic Investigation Team, it's called. They've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool would see this and can see this heap of scrap metal was a sham to begin with. Just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it.
Poor Gracie. He's very head up, isn't he?
Special dispensation. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Are you having me out here, Sunshine? It's the Special Dispensation Act for Scientific Equipment Act.
Yes. I think Hurley mentioned that recently. With a real twinkle in his eye, as I remember.
I'm sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did. Plus, especially for his great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers, if you ask me. Performed by shamans like yourself. Thanks for that!
Oh, I love how absurd some of your inventions here are. It's also fun.
It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hey, science, that's what I say!
Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job.
Take his job. You shouldn't think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shamans' bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly. Sorry. Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. The scientists get funding? Exactly, and that's what they're all after. All these shamans coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. Speaking of Hyde Park, whatever happened to McGilded Park? And who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who! Shit, police really have it hard here. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science! Hang it!
Oh, maybe I could see your point.
Such trying times. Apparently, Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. Right, came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education. It turns out he was... Why are we talking about this? He was at university with someone we both know. Lord Von Zieks. What's that? That's news to me! Von Zieks demands the prosecution. Then as the accused, the professor's fate is... sealed? Because the Reaper will get to him one way or another? Blimey. That man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. Talking of Von Zieks, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that?
Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long is that business gonna keep up, I wonder? The mystery of the Reaper. The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman. He was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Baroque Von Zieks is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes. I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Von Zieks initially. They all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court. Although the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Von Zieks is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants, they couldn't have just coincidentally died if no one killed them. I know that! But I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Von Zieks was a totally different person. Easygoing and kind. You what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourselves elsewhere, eh? Right. Are you done here, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Isn't it about time you were leaving? Or rather, it is about time you were leaving. That lot are here now.
That lot?
Forensic investigation team. They'll be giving me the heave-ho in a minute too.
Oh dear, poor Gregsy. Here, have another cup of my special blend to cheer you up.
Ah, that hit the spot. Yep, hits it every time. Well, at least I've seen the scene with my own eyes. Hold on. It looks like this is as far as we're going to get with our investigations here, at least.
I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he?
About what?
About Mr. Reaper.
About what happened to Lord Von Zieks, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he?
Here, this is what you need.
What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket. Madam Tuspells. Is this supposed to mean something to me?
You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go if you like.
No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. Well, it's not like we can investigate this scene further.
But that's where Hurley is.
What? At this popular London attraction?
Yes!
How is it that you know where he is?
Hurley told me, but he told me to keep it secret from you, Bruno.
Why? Madam Tuspells? I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here. But then, stranger things have happened. And when they happen,
Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Fine, we'll be out of your hair. Yeah, Cyrus.